I have not laughed so hard at a movie that wasn't a comedy, I think, in my life. I was dying watching this movie. There is so much bad decision making that goes on in this film. I can't even believe that the script was greenlit. Nothing makes sense in this movie. This film is a mess, and I'm not the only one saying this. I watch other reviews, and I decided to watch this for myself. And so I want to take you through the trailers here, and I want to tell you about this movie and everything absolutely ludicrous that goes on in this movie. Can I talk about her for a second? All right, I can't even. I watched these back to back. I watched the 2018 Halloween, and then I watched this. And there is nothing enjoyable about her character at all. Nothing. She is this ridiculously cold-hearted bitch of a character. There is nothing redeemable or interesting or even likable about her character. She is so annoying to watch, and I guess she's supposed to be. She's like the hero, technically, of the film, but there is nothing about her that you root for. She has so many problems. From they're trying to make it so that she spent her whole life preparing for his return, preparing for Michael Myers to come back, and read. But like, she's not even good at it. I can't stand her. I cannot stand. I like Jamie Lee Curtis. I always have. Her older roles I think were really good. But this time around, there was nothing pleasant about watching her in this film. Sorry, nothing. And the character sucks. Oh yeah, this was a classic. This was real good. So you have like 5 firefighters standing out here, and they're all armed to the teeth. Like they've got, one guy's got a chop saw. They all got fire axes, I guess you would call them. So yeah, there it is. Yeah. This guy can take down everybody. Like how can 5 people not take this guy down? I can't. They all just like stand there when it's like their turn to die, and then Michael comes up and like stabs him in the face. And I was laughing my ass off. I don't understand. How is it that you cannot, with 5 people, best this guy? I just don't get. I don't understand. The boogeyman. Oh yeah, this was cool too. So in the movie, they have. Here's right here. They have like this morgue that's like everybody can walk by and look in. I've never seen anything like this in any film I've ever seen in my life. Anything I've ever seen in my life. Like when people die, people come over to the window and they're like, "Oh my God, he's in there!" Like, who puts bodies on display? I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe like in Middle America somewhere or something. I have no idea. I have never seen anything like this in my life. Bizarre. Totally bizarre.
No one told you.
Told me what?
Tell me. And I like Judy Greer too. I loved her voiceover work that she did for Archer. I liked her in Ant-Man. But there's something about her in this where she's just, everything's like, she feels like very phoned in both films to me. I don't know what it was with her in this movie. She was just so like blah. When you see him attack people, here's another one. When you see people, when he attacks people, his strength throughout both films is variable to me. There's times where he's picking guys up off the ground with an axe, And then there's times where like he's so strong that when he reached through that window and grabs that guy's head, I feel like he would blast the guy through the wall. Because there's times where he stomps people and they explode. And he does things that are just absolutely require a lot of strength. But then it's like, then there's times where like it doesn't. And he almost like backs off. And I'm like, well, why are you backing off now? You know, rip his head off. What are you waiting for? And this whole scene, by the way, with this couple was very brutal and not fun, which goes for pretty much this entire film. Nothing really was like fun to watch. The whole film had a very serious tone to it. It was almost too serious. And this whole scene was really brutal. And I not that like bothers me on a like a movie watching level where I can't watch it, but I couldn't figure out why they kind of took it that far. It was almost like Rob Zombie far, almost in a way, where it felt really brutal. But like, so I don't want to say it was like Rob Zombie because it's not, but it's like in that direction. That scene was great. So this woman gets stabbed. So at the end of the first Halloween, she gets stabbed. She gets wounded in her abdomen by Michael. And that's when she's in the back of the truck going, ah! And then they get her to the hospital. And they are doing open surgery on her. Like they have her stomach like open, like flaps, like, and they're like in there like doing all this stuff. You see like the different layers of tissue in there, like the muscle, the fat, the skin. I'm like, whoa, this wasn't just a couple of stitches here. This was a serious knife wound. It's like, I don't even know how long into the film, like 20 minutes later, she's like getting off the table. I'm sorry, off the bed, hospital bed, and she's like, "We're gonna take him down," and she stabs herself in the ass with this needle. She's like, "Ah!" and then she's like, "It makes the pain go away." It was so bad, so bad. I can't even believe it was happening. I'm like, am I supposed to be laughing at this? Because I was laughing my ass off. And a knife in your stomach. Great acting.
Evil dies tonight.
They said that a lot.
What do we do?
We fight. But that's what she tried to do the first time, and you couldn't get it done. And this whole mob scene, this whole thing that went on for way too long. It actually got boring, and they had, I don't know his name, I didn't care, the guy that was leading the whole thing, and he was like one of the kids or something from one of the earlier films, and he was the one leading the pack, and it was just like, oh my god, dude, get this over with. I really don't know what they were trying to do with this. I really don't. It was too it was kind of redundant. Running around, he kept saying the same things over and over again, and it felt really poorly executed. It really did. It didn't feel well thought out at all. I would have been okay with this scene had it lasted like a minute, but this went on for a while. They kept going back to it, and they were like running through the hospital, and
The more he transcends. Run! Go now! He's the essence of evil.
And this information dump that she's giving is in like the last 2 minutes of the film. There is literally nothing said in this film that is noteworthy, that makes you think until like the last 2 minutes. There's a good example there too. What is he waiting for? Like, what did I miss? Like, any other scene, this guy is doing stuff that normal men couldn't even do. Normal people, whatever, couldn't even do. You couldn't even be strong enough. And it's like, here, he's got this knife and he's like hesitating. What are you hesitating for? Oh, this was great. She runs up to these kids. We're in the park, and they're just like, the kids are like, "Oh my god!" Like, there's like a man like in a mask, and he's like a pervert, and they're swinging back and forth. And they're talking to this woman, and she starts getting aggravated with them because they're not like really like paying attention to what she's saying. Where? Look, and look, look how far away he is. Okay, he's so far away, you almost can't tell what it is. Like, and from our perspective, from the audience perspective, yes, we know it's Michael Myers. But like, these are people in the town, and like, he's holding something. He could be holding a box of tissues. Like, you can't even tell what it is. And they don't show it here, but the kid's like, is it some kid, like, I don't even remember. I don't care. I don't even remember. It was somebody's mask that he killed. Is that Brandon's mask? I think it is. He was so far away. I don't even understand how they could even tell what he was holding. And then on top of that, I think they show it here. The camera shot is from behind. You see it for a second there with the knife. And then, of course he disappears. But the camera shot, they show the mask from behind, and they pan across, and you see the knife. But like, the mask was from behind, so the kids from the front couldn't see what it was. And it's dark, and it's like see, this is one of those little like things to me that, like, when the movie's already off the rails, small things will really start to bother me. Like, if I'm having the time of my life and I don't care, and I'm just laughing and not caring, things like this won't bother me. But when the whole film is just off the rails and driving me nuts, little things like this will just keep popping up. And for both of these films did for me, the 2018 Halloween and this one, and of course he's gone. And oh yeah, this couple was great. They were so unrealistic to me too. A lot of classic tropes. Oh yeah, the gun's out of bullets. The man who could survive everything is coming back.
40 years ago.
What can't this guy survive?
I'm coming.
Now, what I will praise this film for is there was some really cool cinematics throughout the movie. There's some really cool shots with him standing there, and he did have this presence on screen. They did a good job with that for the most part. Like, he looks good on screen. He's very buyable. He didn't. It's not like Rob Zombie's films where he seemed like he was just too big, too hulking, massive. Just beyond something that was kind of believable. He looked good for the most part. When he was there, it was scary. He was on. But I think that's the only thing that was good about it. Yeah, that's the other thing. This guy takes like 5 shots to the face. He like takes a railing to his head, like right here. This is her feminine boyfriend. Oh no, that was her. He did it to him too. They look the same to me. He does it to both of them, and like, I don't even know how they were conscious. And this is one of those things that's like, it's a movie thing that I'm being picky. I know that, but for a film that's so grounded in reality, this just bothers me. That
I want to take his mask off and see the life leave his eyes.
That was stupid too. That led nowhere. And in this film, at least, it did absolutely nothing. Like, there was literally zero payoff for that in this film. I don't understand why they did that. It would have been okay maybe if she had said, sure, let me, I want to take his mask off, and then like maybe she didn't get to it, and maybe in the next film they could have did it, and then wrap that up. But then they did it, and like nothing happened. Judy Greer's just like looking at him like, almost like she knew who he was, kind of, but they didn't take it anywhere. And he puts the mask back on, and of course he kills a whole crowd of people that was beating on him. And and that's the thing. Like the very end of this, I almost have nothing to say about the rest of the movie, because it was like nothing really came of it in the end. It was like this whole excuse to just get this mob going, and I don't know. I was dumbfounded at this movie that people actually liked it, because I didn't think it was scary, and I don't know what people saw in this, and I don't care to see another one. And that's the thing, like in the end, he's like getting beat by this like crowd, and like I'm waiting for somebody to like cut his head off or something. And they're all just like standing there like with their, whatever they're beating him with. It's like, pitchfork kind of style, torches and pitchforks. And like nothing. Then he like gets up and he somehow is able to kill everybody that was beating him in the street. And like it just, nothing felt organic in this movie, if that makes any sense. Everything felt like for the sake of justification. And I will say, this movie does feel like they planned it. It is pretty interwoven with the first one. I think they did plan this. But in the end, I'm like, did you? Or was it just really poor planning? Like, did you actually know what you wanted to do with this movie? And where are you going with it? Like, does Michael Myers, like, what does he become? Like, is he just like invincible? Is he like unkillable? I don't even know. I don't even.
Shut up, Jerry. It kills the pain.